In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the productivity tools that I use and how I use them on my slow living journey. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've done a video on this before, but this is essentially going to be an updated version, and I really want to emphasize how exactly I use my productivity tools in this video because I think it'll give some clarity as to how intensive or not intensive my system is. I actually don't think it's intense at all, and we'll get into it, but I pretty much set up my productivity tools as a system so that it's there for me to take the mental load off of my head and throw it into those systems so that I can free up space, time, mental capacity to practice my slow living practices. And that's exactly how I would want to structure it for you. I would hope that after this video, you kind of set up your productivity system in the same way so that you're able to really focus on your slow living journey and not have to worry about all of the things that you have to do in your life, all of life responsibilities, and you can rely on your productivity system to do all of that work for you for the most part, and then you can focus on all of the great things that are associated with slow living. I do have a blog post all about slow living and productivity and why they go hand in hand. I think productivity is essential for slow living, obviously. You can get into the details of that in the blog post. I'll link it down in the description box. And every single tool that I will be talking about, I've already done deep dive videos on them on this channel. So after you watch this video, you can have a browse on my channel and you can check those videos out if you're curious about any of the tools. But let's get right into it. The first tool that I have listed is Notion. If you know anything about me, you know that Notion has pretty much my entire life in it. And what I have written down is that I use it for pretty much everything. But let's break it down a little bit further. So Notion uses boards for essentially everything. And I like to look at boards as hubs. Hubs for whatever topic I want to dive deep into, whatever project I'm working on, things like that. And so each board, you can do a lot of customizing type of things within it to work on your project, work on your event, whatever it may be. So these are the three types of boards / hubs that I use Notion for. The first thing is immediate things, aka all of my content creator stuff, all of my podcast stuff, things that I'm really going into on the daily and weekly basis, and it's just got everything in there that I need when it comes to whatever applicable topic. The second category is passive things such as wish lists, games that I'm playing, a game tracker, stuff like that. I have it set up in Notion, but I only go into it on a seasonal basis, on a case-by-case basis. It's just there for me to rely on if I ever need to remember, oh, like what is it that I want for Christmas? What is it that this person wants for Valentine's Day? Stuff like that, or what games that I'm playing and tracking that. They're there when I need it, but I don't always go into it. And then the third category is literal one-off things. For example, event planning. So I did my mom's surprise birthday party all in Notion. I did the whole Christmas vacation in Notion. I did my Mexico trip in Notion. So things like that I'm going to be using for a dedicated period of time. And then once I'm finished with it, I archive it. I no longer need it. So as you can see from these three categories, there's only one out of the three that I use on a weekly and daily basis. Those are my immediate things, but all of the other things, all of the other boards / hubs, I use on a case-by-case basis. So although it has my entire life in it, I'm not using it intensely on a daily, minute-by-minute basis. So I hope that clarified things there with Notion. I know Notion can seem very intimidating, especially in the way that like Notion enthusiasts talk about it, such as myself. But the next tool that I use is Google Calendar. Again, three categories here for Google Calendar. The first category is calendar events, of course, whenever I have an event, a meeting, things like that, things that you would associate with a calendar, of course. The second category are daily reminders. So while it says daily in this category, I'm not actually going in and doing something on a daily basis. I have set these reminders up ahead of time, let's say like at the beginning of the year, and then they send me, or they as in the calendar sends me notifications onto my phone because Google Calendar can send notifications. It will send me reminders / notifications every single day. For example, what I need to post on social media on a given day. So say I need to post a photo dump on Mondays, I will get notified, I will get pinged on my phone from Google Calendar to post a photo dump every single Monday. And like I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm just getting notified from my calendar because I set up those daily reminders kind of retrospectively, if that makes sense. And then the third category are check-ins. So these are kind of like personal check-ins. They're not calendar invites necessarily, they're not meetings necessarily, but for example, I have my quarterly check-ins on my calendar, and that's kind of like a mental note to me on a specific date, a specific time every few months or every month to check in with myself. So once again, I have the quarterly check-ins, but I also have a budget tracker check-in, and that's at the beginning of every month. Once again, all of these things only kind of come up on a case-by-case basis. The only ones that are kind of static are the daily reminders, which I don't actually do anything on a daily basis, and then the quarterly check-ins or any kind of check-ins that happen every month or every few months. Okay, the next tool that I use is Google Keep. So Google Keep is essentially just a space for me to make really quick checklists. If you know anything about Google Keep, that's essentially what it is. It's just a really quick note, but it's not a physical note where I can potentially lose the note or forget the note at home. And it's not in Notion where I kind of have to go digging because Notion is so vast that I need to find like a quick checklist. It's going to take me forever. So Google Keep is that perfect kind of simple, accessible space for me to have quick checklists. For example, I have my grocery list in there, I have my meals for the week in there, and I have the my weekend to-do list in there. What I also like about Google Keep is that these kinds of lists are easy, or they are easy to share, and I want to share them. So obviously I want to share the grocery list and the weekend to-do list with Ian, and so it's very easy to do that in Google Keep. And so if I need to access these quick checklists, say I'm at the grocery store or I'm out and about, I can quickly check it on my phone, or Ian can quickly check it on his phone because he has access to it as well. Once again, those things I'm checking on a weekly basis, not necessarily a daily basis unless you're talking about the meals for the week, but I'm just quickly checking it. Everything about Google Keep is just quick, simple, easy, and that's why I love it so much. But once again, not high maintenance at all. Okay, the next tool is an honorable mention. It's not necessary at all. But I have my iPad mentioned here because I have an iPad. I've had an iPad for so many years, and I just wanted to make more use of it this year, and so it's mentioned here because I use it simply as a tool to access all of my digital tools. So Notion, Google Calendar, and Google Keep. I only use it when I'm at home, when I'm in my workspace, and I have it set up on my desk where I have my laptop and my phone and everything. I only use it in that situation because it's just an additional screen basically, and I keep all of those productivity tools open on this screen, so I don't have to necessarily pull it up on my laptop or pull it up on my phone. It's just an additional screen. Again, not necessary at all, and I'm only checking it in the ways that I mentioned about Google Calendar, Keep, and Notion. Okay, and then the last tool that I have here is a traditional planner. You have probably seen my planner in my past few videos because I just got it and I just started using it. But it's a traditional planner. It has a monthly view, it has a weekly view, everything that you would associate with a traditional planner. And so that's exactly how I use it. I use it to look at a monthly view, like an actual calendar, and I jot things down throughout the month on that calendar. And then the weekly view is where I put in my daily to-do lists. And so I am using my planner on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. It's probably the one tool that I use most frequently because it literally has my daily to-do lists in there, and that's what you would expect from a traditional planner. I think anybody that uses a traditional planner would use it in that way, so I'm not using it in an extra additional more intensive way. It's just your standard traditional planner. And I also use it for end of month reflection, so I just use one page at the end of each month in the planner to reflect on my month. I have a set list of prompts that I have in the planner, and I always answer the same prompts, and I just like to do it in there because I can flip through the pages and see what I did in the month, and it's just got everything detailed in there, so it just is convenient for me to do my reflection in there as well. And I like to write it down. I like to use a journal space in order to do a reflection, so I just like it. It's convenient, it works out for me. But out of all of the tools that I mentioned, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one of them being absolutely not necessary, that is the only tool that I use on a very frequent basis. Everything else, Notion, of course, I use on a weekly basis as well, but everything else is kind of one-off. Only I only use it when I absolutely need it or for specific circumstances. And so while it may seem intensive, once again, it's just a system that I have set up for myself so that I can throw everything that I need to throw in there in its respective space in order for me to stress less. And so stressing less, not having all of this information in my brain only, helps me so much, and that allows me to embrace my slow living journey. It allows me to successfully live a slower life. And big emphasis on successfully, because we can definitely wish and hope and dream for a slower life, but if we're not doing it successfully, are we actually on this slow living journey in a productive way? I don't mean to say productive in an ironic way. I hope this gave you some clarity, and I hope it inspires you to set up your own productivity system, because I advocate for it 1000%. Of course, if you have any questions, if you want me to do an updated video on any of these tools that I mentioned, or if you just need some additional advice, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate you. Good luck on your slow living journey, and I will talk to you in next week's video.